Battlefield Podcast.
Hey everybody, Geiger's here.
Hey guys, what is up? My name is Addison396.
And so hey everyone, and welcome to our second episode of Manic Monday with our special guest. And one of the stars of the Battlefield Podcast, Mr. Chalk One.
One of the stars. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome.
So today we're playing Conquest Domination on Operation 9 to 5, not Zebra Tower. And we're basically playing the objective whilst we're today. So I hope you don't mind, but if we jump straight into the questions, is that okay, Ola?
Oh, go for it. I just keep dying,
so
go ahead.
I was basically wondering.
5 on 8.
I was basically wondering, why did you want to start a podcast for Battlefield in the first place?
Well, so you have to kind of put yourself back in time about, gosh, almost 7 years now. So this was before a bazillion YouTube videos about Battlefield, whatever. So there was none of that, right? We had Battlefield 2 was sort of in its heyday, and there were fan sites, TotalBF2.com, you know, things similar to like Battlefield.com that you're all familiar with. And that was pretty much it. That's where the community was, and that's where everybody chatted in forums, and that was that. And at that same time, it was sort of the beginning of podcasts, I guess, audio podcasts, getting popular. And a friend of mine, Pequan, also goes by Chalk 2, which is probably a horrible choice in the end, but we would play Battlefield 2 together on PC, and after the games we would just sit and chat about it, and you know, just kind of shoot the shit and talk about it. And I came up with the idea, hey, why don't we record this and maybe turn it into a podcast? And so we did that. We did one episode that sounded horrible and it was really awkward and everything. We got it posted up on the website forums, and people really responded to it. I got promoted. Save that just for this show. So that's how that started.
I remember. See, I'm 21 now, and so how old would I have been when you first started? Because I remember listening to you guys really early on. You were my only information outside of, you know, in-game that I had on Battlefield. You were my only other source of Battlefield. So, and I remember I used to listen to you guys because I used to play Battlefield on my brother's PC when I used to visit my brother. So I couldn't have Battlefield, you know, constantly. I was young at this point in time, and I just remember I had to.
We're so old.
Thanks, guys. But no, I used to basically use your podcast and like re-listen to more than like the same episode more than one time, just so I could like fill in my time between, you know, actually playing the game.
Right.
So I remember you guys were like you were really new in the podcast world as well. I think you probably, I was talking to my girlfriend Caroline, and I think you guys introduced me to podcasts.
Yeah, there weren't many, certainly not for gaming. There were a bunch of tech podcasts, you know, real important stuff, and some of those huge ones, but like I said, there wasn't a lot of people doing this stuff, and we'd cover a lot of the news. I mean, less so now, but you gotta remember Battlefield 2 had mods, right? So there was basically something new happening.
Love you used to have mod sections, didn't you?
We did. We even had a little modcast for a while.
Yeah.
So there was always stuff to talk about, and then did things similar to what we do now, tried to get other people on. So it was fairly easy. We used to just do it audio only, and we dabbled in this like enhanced podcast thing, which is like I think it was an iTunes thing where you could have screenshots or pictures. So. And it was nice because there wasn't any competition really. You know, nobody was doing YouTube videos. There was no people with 90,000 subscribers on YouTube, and nobody was making any money off it either. So it was all just a fun thing for the most part.
It was been cool at the beginning though. It's because like you're one of the groundbreakers, I guess you want to call it, and watch it grow and whatever.
Yeah, in a way. I mean, the Battlefield community as a whole has come a long way. A really long way. But in many ways it also hasn't. It's very interesting because there's still only a couple of big websites that are fan sites, and even those appear to be struggling. So much of that has shifted over to YouTube channels.
Yeah.
All of those big ways that we get information about Battlefield.
Yeah.
Here's your first thing.
Okay, so next question. So a lot of us saw your interview with Daniel Matros. Were you nervous doing it, and or do you get nervous doing those interviews anymore?
I still do before, like as soon as we get into it and actually start talking to our guests, that all goes away. But most of my nervousness is more around the technical side of things, because usually I end up with computers and there's cables everywhere and programs running and recording over here and over there, and I've had times in the past where recordings fail, and there's nothing worse than going through an entire hour with a guest, especially a high-profile one, and then you listen to it after and you're like, oh crap, it didn't record so-and-so's voice, or it recorded with the wrong mic and I sound like crap, I mean, there's still. It took us a long time to get some of the people from DICE on the show. So yeah, there's some nervousness because they're people from DICE.
Yeah, you want to have a good show for your fans too.
Right.
So.
The worst thing you can do is get somebody on like that, and then nobody cares because he's not answering questions well, or he has nothing to say.
Yeah. He had a lot to say. A lot to say. It was a good interview. I think we could all agree on that.
There's a lot of grenades in here, place.
So, oh, nice revive, thank you. So Chuck, do you know, obviously you know what a Battlefield moment is.
Yes.
To anybody out there who doesn't know, I didn't know how to approach that without being patronising. I want to introduce it, but I was like, oh shit. I sort of just asked that to joke. So yeah, anybody who doesn't know what Battlefield moment is, it's basically like the amazingness of, well, not just the Frostbite engine, because we...
Sorry.
Tags! It's not just the Frostbite engine, is it? Because we used to have Battlefield moments before the Frostbite 2 engine. So it's basically like an amazing moment that happens in Battlefield that is just unique. You wouldn't be able to reproduce it, if you tried 100 times, that sort of thing. And I was wondering, what is your, if you were to think of your ultimate Battlefield moment that you've ever experienced, I'd like to know what it is, if that's alright.
It's actually really hard, because I find with Battlefield, you get a lot of those Battlefield moments. You get a lot of things where you're like, yep, that wouldn't have happened in any other game.
Yeah.
Which makes the game special. But things like some of those RPG kills that you can get, whether it's against a jet or a little bird or something like that, where you literally just sort of throw the RPG up in a Hail Mary.
Here's your man.
Yeah.
Those are kind of cool, but I don't know if there's one. I died for you so you could take his tags. Did you do that at least? No. I'm not trying to avoid the question. It's really hard to answer, actually, to nail it down to one moment. I'm not one of those. A lot of people will tell you that it's like a Rambo dog tag multi-kill kind of moment, taking down a full chopper, something like that. But I haven't gotten a whole lot of those, actually. I did get one the other day that was kind of cool, and it was an RPG against and it got me one of the dog tags. I think it's one of the premium black ones that required 50 AT kills.
Right, yeah.
Those are, I don't know, I like it when you blow shit up and then something pops up at the top of the screen. You're like, yay, I unlocked something.
Yeah.
So it's like, not only did I do it, I also got this cool dog tag to,
Exactly.
or whatever.
But also just the other day I was knife fighting with somebody, literally almost one-on-one. We just ended up behind a building on a TDM map. And I was just about to get killed. I started going into the animation where this dude's pulling back on my shoulder. And then I hear this loud pop. and I stand up straight again, and I see that he got sniped by somebody else from a really long way away. So it's one of those. I don't think you could reproduce that if you wanted to,
No.
where you're just about to die and you get saved.
Yeah. Mine are my favorite. I like Gulf of Oman's my favorite map, and it's the moments when you're standing in the desert and you got tanks and airplanes and helicopters flying over you, and they're all going off to their little wars and all that. Those are my favorite moments. And it's just like you can't. It's the only game you can get that in, really.
Yeah.
Except, well, maybe Arma or something, but I've never played it. But those are the things I like. So. Next question. Speaking of dog tags, you and Darkness, Tim, your partner, recently got the DICE-approved gold dog tags. Probably took longer than you thought it might, but you got them. But you both must feel very happy that it happened. Can you explain your feelings when you got them?
Well, it was interesting because we actually ended up getting them. It came out of that interview that you mentioned earlier that we did with them.
Right.
And we chatted to him a little bit afterwards. And I don't. Part of the problem. Whoops! I didn't see that.
Oh, I know. It's flying out of the ceiling. Hello.
I think part of the reason, and I don't want to make it sound like it took so long and we were upset about it or something. It really didn't matter, but. This industry, people change so quickly, right? So there's very few people left at DICE now that even remember us from when we first started doing the podcast. And then we also didn't do it for a while during Bad Company 2 and Bad Company 1. So, but when we talked to Daniel afterwards, I know you're trying to get through here, buddy, but there's people behind you that are trying to kill you. I know. We mentioned to him that one of the guys that we interviewed in 2006 is now his roommate.
Right.
And he didn't work at DICE at the time. So it came out of that. And then we ended up actually getting them unlocked on the day of my birthday. It's kind of a really nice present. So it was really nice. I will always wear them because I don't like it when people don't wear them because people are going to try to get them whether you wear them or not.
Yeah.
It can get interesting, especially on Xbox. Because people do actually chase. Nothing's happened so far today, so that's good.
No, I'm kind of actually surprised about that. I haven't been hounded too much.
But yeah, I think it's a pretty great honor. So I think we're both very happy about it.
Do you mind me asking you, like, because it did, for me, it took a long time for you guys to get them. It took a long time, even though they could have had the whole staff revamped, and the people must have known what you were doing, before they worked there, or even if as soon as they worked there, they must have heard who the Battlefield podcast was. I mean, who in the community who looks around doesn't find you guys and at least your audio podcast? I just find it hard to believe why you didn't get them earlier. Is that something you thought of for any period of time?
When they did about 2 rounds, I think, where they handed out a whole bunch and they announced on Battlelog who was getting them. And you sort of look through the names. It's like, okay, big YouTuber, never heard of this person.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like it's probably a lot of it was supposed to be based on, I guess, community suggestions to them.
Yeah.
And honestly, sometimes I think it was just a matter of, if you asked enough and it made sense enough to them, then you got them. But I don't know. I can't imagine what the decision-making process is.
Thank you.
Oh, left side behind you guys.
Going for the res.
Wow.
You're like the biggest Rambo reviver in the world, as I swear to God.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to, I don't know, I don't want to start any beef or anything like that, start a war, but I just thought it took a very long time, and I thought you deserved them a lot sooner than you got them, so.
Thanks.
Anyways.
I know during the chat he was pushing quite a bit, asking saying about it. But
Oh, Addison
anyway.
was? During the
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't like the point. I don't want to speak on it too much. I'll move me on if I'm talking too much about it. But I just didn't like the point where he was saying something along the lines of, the reason why we've given them to people in the past is they've done a lot for the community or they've put in a lot of effort. And I was like, these guys haven't. I was like, you're saying that in front of these guys. Look at what these guys have done for the community over the. I actually got annoyed at it, and I'm getting annoyed at it now, so I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, free dog tag for me. I think that's the same guy I just knifed a little at the last game. Oh, and this guy's trying to knife me. Nope. Okay,
so yeah, I'll move on with the next question. So what's your favourite Battlefield title and why?
I played 1942 for a bit, but Battlefield 2 was where I met a lot of my closest friends. It's hard. I've gone back to play Battlefield 2, so it's hard to put in perspective. A lot of people, I have a hard time comparing to Battlefield 3. I still think in some way that Battlefield 3 is my favorite title because what it's done for us, like Battlefield 2 and 2142, we were all playing together as a group, as a community.
Behind you guys.
Oh, there's a bunch of them up here. It's like a hornet's nest.
Ooh. To your right, Chalk, behind you. Guidance is on.
But Battlefield 3 is what brought us back together, because it now came out on PC and all the platforms. It didn't really matter what you had. You could play the game. So that's one of the reasons why. I mean, obviously, technically and all that, it's newer.
Yeah, because
so
like
it's
Bad
better
Company
looking.
1 wasn't on the PC, right? But Bad Company 2 was?
Correct. But at that time, I never played it on the PC. So I played Bad Company 1 on Xbox, but with only one other person. And because nobody else that I knew had an Xbox, they were all still on PC. And then when Bad Company 2 came out, I ended up playing it a little bit on the PS3 with even less friends because nobody had a PS3 as well. So, and then when Battlefield 3 came out, we all sort of it was that time to upgrade, the PCs and
Objective has been neutralized.
all get back
Objective has been
together.
neutralized.
Well, it's like, BF3 is it was the benchmark for PCs now, right? So I think is it still? Or did Crisis 3 surpass that?
Well, I don't know. Crisis 3.
You can put it.
Technically, maybe. Because again, it's newer, but I still have the most fun in Battlefield 3.
Yeah.
But when you played as many hours of these games, like all of us have, it really does come down to what your friends are playing. And
Yeah, exactly.
if all my friends start playing Crisis 3, I'd have a closer look at it, because I enjoy playing with friends, and it's not so much that. Yes, there's always new things still in Battlefield 3, but I don't play it by myself. So.
No.
Unless I'm drunk and sad.
Yeah, but then you
Then I live stream.
you put it out.
And then
Yeah,
I
then you
play
live stream it,
64-man TDM.
Okay, so last question,
Got the first aid.
if I can find it. Your YouTube channel is doing rather well. You just passed 1,400 viewers today at the time of this recording, and I don't know if you know that or not, but
I did, yeah.
I did. So I lost my spot. Okay, so why start the channel, and what direction do you want it to go in?
Well, I think we originally started it when we started doing video again for the podcast. And to be honest, we've done video in the past, years ago, and it was always, frankly, too much work. Too much editing and all that stuff. So we said, let's do these things live without any editing. What's a good way to do that? And there's not a ton of options to record live video. And Google Hangouts let you do that for free and have like one button upload to YouTube things. So that's actually sort of how we started the channel. So we have that place to use it and put them there. And then, branch out a little bit, do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Figure out how to record on PC and start recording cool moments and whatnot. So it's grown a little bit in various directions. As to where it's going to go, probably just more of the same. I mean, it's still going to be, obviously all of our podcasts are going to be up there. But, every once in a while Tim will do a news reel on the latest DLC news or whatever. What's up? There'll be stuff like that. There's maybe a few other series that we may be thinking about. It's hard to say, though, because to me, and you guys know this, with the amount of content out there already on YouTube for Battlefield 3, you have to come up with something that's a little unique.
Yeah, you try to come up with something original.
Right. So it always depends. Like if an idea strikes us, we come up with something that we think is unique enough for people to want to watch. We put that on there. Well, we even post stuff that's not behind me. Oh, okay.
Thank God.
Oh wow, I missed everything.
Okay, that guy can die now. That's cool.
Yeah. But we even put some games up there that aren't Battlefield 3, so it's not just all for that one game. Like I do a Let's Play in Metro 2033 and stuff. Not many people watch it, but some people do, and it's fun to do. So yeah, whatever strikes our mood. Sometimes we do highlights of drunk live streams.
Yeah, I watched the one today. That was good. I like that.
Yeah.
Good. Picked out all the good moments. I think I would have, as I watched it. So I was
Behind
there, but and I watched the whole thing too. It was good.
Yeah, thank you.
So that's the end of our questions. So this is a chance for you to say anything you'd like to say to your viewers or whatever.
Stop knifing.
Thoughts.
That would be. Well, I think it was right when you said that I got knifed again.
I've seen that tweet a few times.
What was that, sorry?
No,
Stop knifing them.
Oh.
I mean, people know where to find us. Pretty much if you Google Battlefield Podcast, you'll find us on YouTube. There's a couple of Twitch channels that we have. I want to mention Tim's Twitch stream as well. It's twitch.tv/darkness_429. And, if you haven't come across us yet or haven't found out anything, just come have a look, I guess. And yeah, my tags, you can't wear them. Leave me alone.
Yeah. That's one of the things a lot of people keep asking that, and it surprises me, but we're, I guess, the hardcore Battlefield guys, we know everything about it, or at least we think we do. But, and it's like, well, why can't I wear these? And I'm like, you can't wear any dog tag that you don't earn. Like, it doesn't matter if it's the gold, whatever, if you didn't earn it, you can't wear it. So.
Yeah, and I've gotten, a lot of people don't even know what they are. I've had a few messages from people on Xbox.
You guys are on A.
That just send me a message after they've knifed me, and they're like, where'd you get that cool dog tag? And so not everybody's aware.
It's fine on the floor.
It's in a cereal box.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that you can't earn them as well, so you can't earn them.
On the other hand, there's
do
literally
kind of earn them.
yeah, but there's literally
You can with a lot of podcasting hours.
a community that I guess that's somewhat controversial that focuses on getting these tags. I wasn't aware of this before. I knew that there was websites where you could find people who have, whether they're DICE developers or these DICE approved tags. But there's actually leaderboards where people are ranked based on how many of these they've gotten. So I kept wondering why the same guy keeps knifing me over and over. I'm like, you got it once. Go away.
Oh, so they're trying to get on the leaderboard.
They are.
Okay. I didn't know those existed.
There are people with hundreds of DICE-related tag kills.
I seen the YouTube videos, where they show them off and they show them knifing them and stuff like that.
Oh shit! Speaking of that, I just turned around. There was two guys right there knifing me.
Yeah.
Still up.
Here, that'll get you going.
Ah, same guy.
Let that guy up.
That's actually the downside, because now the people that I play with, they tend to get knifed a lot. Oh my god!
Sorry, Chuck. Sorry, Ollie.
Whose team are you on? Or are you just standing
Oh,
there?
Jesus. Okay, well, we can wrap that up. We'll
Here's the first aid, man.
We'll edit it so we can show the end of the game or whatever later. But so, thank you everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. Oh, Jesus, there's a guy right here.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time. We do appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch this, and we hope that you've enjoyed it. Definitely.
Okay,
I'm
so
sure.
take care, everyone.
Yeah, take care, guys. Thank you very much for your time.
Next week's guest will be True Tactics 2. And I'd like again to thank Chalk very much for coming on to our show. And take care, everyone.